children under the age of 10.
Manze, asante sana for joining us for another classic episode of the Wicked Edition. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori. We have a great show lined up for you. Kwanza, in our previous episode, we showed you a video of Jama Wanduthi akipita shortcut kwa park kando ya Masimba maze. And we assumed it was to save fuel because what ujua Nduthi guys can defend petrol with their lives. Kumbe, that was moments before. We have received exclusive footage of lions eating. Alafu kuna Nduthi imejaa ndizi hapo kando. You may be asking yourself, Simba inakula nini na ndizi tunaona tu ziko sawa. Now calm down. This picture shows that the guy is safe. Mimi nimekam kulan that safety depends on the context and the individual strategies mtu amechoose ku apply. Kutoka leo maze hamtawahi sikia nikienjoy watu wa Nduthi jo hizo majacket wanavaanga. No serious by the huo mse wa Nduthi akipita hapo kwa park alikuwa anajua hata Simba ikimuonja ati maze maze wewe ni mnyama mgani maze kumbe hizo jackets sio za kujikinga tu na baridi maze zinaweza kusaidia usikulwe. Alafu pia kumbe there is a reason azikuangi zinafuliwa. Unajua Simba ukula vitu fresh. So now it has been a week with interesting stories from the animal kingdom. Stories za wanyama zimekuwa hot cake. There are reports that tourists actually were left disappointed after they did not find swimming lions, as President Ruto mentioned in this speech at the WRC.
How many of you have seen a lion swimming? Go to Lamu. There is a spot in Lamu where lions swim.
How many of you have seen a lion swimming? Wazungu wakainua mkono alafu wakaenda wakapata hakuna simba zina swim huko kwa beach, but at least walipata mafisi. But the good news about this story ni ati tourists at least wana feel vile wa Kenya wao feel wakiambo waende supermarket watapata unga ya 170. There's also this bit the president mentioned about elephants.
If you are looking for something to do with elephants, you're welcome to go to Tana River. That is where we have bathing elephants. If you have not seen an elephant having a shower, please visit Tana River.
In Tana River, you'll find elephants having a shower. Mi hata siamini wao ni president wetu ana market uchi wa mnyama. Your design. Thank you. My issue is not whether the tourists found showering elephants or not, but the fact that there are people who will travel from all corners of the world to watch other animals take a shower. Na walipedo. Na bado, sasa the president was also very categorical about the only place in the world that you'll find an elephant taking a shower.
History has it, science has it, the world knows that you will have bathing elephants only in a place called Tana River.
History has it, science knows it. Hii dunia yote you will only find ndovu ikioga Tana River. Ndovu ni kuu, unajitetea ukiwa pale ndani. Manze, rada ni chafu. Now, but to give the fact that to give credit where credit is due, the fact that the president took initiative to market our country to tourists is a wonderful gesture. Right? It's a wonderful gesture. But one of the most interesting bits nilipata kwa hiyo speech yote. Hiyo story ya nini ndio ilifanya ni find out. Hiyo story ya tourists walienda wakakosa, but after listening to that speech, one of the most interesting bits nilipata was when the president mentioned baboons.
Right here in Suswa, just free information. Right here in Suswa, we have the baboon parliament. Right here in Suswa. Every evening at 7 p.m., there is a parliament of baboons. They come and have a conversation about their affairs. If you want to see the baboon parliament, please visit Suswa here. The Minister for Tourism is here. she will tell you where it is.
Nilikuwa na share hiyo clip na Tom Daktari. Unajua Tom Daktari tuko naye kwa show na Tom ni wa Macha. Nikamwambia baboons ziko na parliament. I don't know, yeye haku struggle sana ku believe because Tom ni wa Macha ati baboons ziko na parliament. Akasema juzi ziko na katimba. Now najulikana ati baboon ujulikana juu ya katimba. Now when the president said that, for me it felt like he was quoting directly from an intelligence briefing. How Manugu kutana kila siku saa moja. As in, can you imagine that president alisema baboons ziko na parliament where they meet every day, every evening at 7 p.m. to discuss their affairs. Can you imagine? Baboons ziko na parliament and they show up to discuss their affairs. Why do our members of parliament go benchmarking outside the country? Now, unaweza hapa Suswa to learn a few things or two from baboons. In other news, there was excitement this week after Baba, Honorable Raila Odinga, the leader of Azimio, decided to take a walk, then board a matatu to town. It's funny how Kenyans can support Baba when he's walking. Running is where they draw the line. Now, I've seen the video of just before Baba pande matatu. Maze Wakenya hawana patience. Watu wanang'ang'ania kuingia kwa mat mbele ya Baba. Badala waacha hata Baba kwanza aingie ndio waingie. Niliangalia nikajiuliza, hiyo ni matatu ama ni State House? And the interesting thing ni ati the matatu maintained all the elements za what a matatu should be, including loud music. And I think that's symbolic to show that Baba bado wako kwa debe. And some people are asking, why a matatu? Mbona Baba anapanda matatu? How does this help the cost of living? Like, what's the significance? No, I think it's simple. Seems like Baba has realized that Kenya hii, matatu is the best platform to push for change. Now, and I found the headlines to this story very interesting. Ati Baba boards a matatu to work. Last I checked, Baba has been looking for a job for the past 10 years. What work? But that depends on how you look at it. The biggest struggle by the recently that Honorable Raila Odinga has said with the police is getting into the CBD. Basically, Baba kuingia tau kwa kibarua. And unaweza pata hata hiyo siku Baba alikuwa amekuja na mat ndio ingie tau ajue ni siku gani poa ya maandamano.
Jumatano.
That's a proper strategy. But then, speaking of maandamano, former Chief Justice Willy Mutunga was among activists who were tear-gassed at the Central Police Station on Saturday, where they had gone to agitate for freedom and the release of protesters arrested during the Sabasaba demonstrations the previous day. Mazeoni, former Chief Justice, amenyonya tear gas mpaka akaishiwa na hewa. Umeona vile anashikiliwa kenda akitembea. And the police have been criticized for not following Article 37 of the Constitution, which gives every individual a right to demonstrate or picket. Polisi nao ni nani? Hiyo Article 37 ndio walipiga tear gas. But then there's a silver lining kwa hiyo story yote. Ukiangalia hii clip ya vile hiyo tear gas ili happen, there's a silver lining. There is a very beautiful thing that came out of hiyo tear gassing ya wasiona protest ndani ya police station. Can you imagine that? I hope you saw that. Toka nje, like makarao wanafukuza wase. Tokeni nje. Those are police officers chasing away protesters from a police station. Moral of the story, if you don't want protesters to get arrested, demonstrate inside the police station. It's the same logic. Yeah, you cannot get pregnant when you're pregnant. Always weka ndani mtu wako ndani already. Thank you. Thank you. We have a great show lined up for you. Our guest for this episode is a gentleman that you will be very pleased to meet. He's part of the team that came up with an organization. In fact, he founded it, an organization which gives Kenyan youth in the diaspora an identity. Hata to explain here vizuri sana, and I'm sure ni kitu mtalike sana. He's a walking library of all you need to know, or all you need to know should you ever want to travel out of the country or settle in America. He's the leader of the Diaspora Youth Caucus Initiative. Cliff Mobeck is in the house. Hapo sawa, he's joining us on the other end of this short commercial break. See you in a bit.
keep your toilets clean.
I use normal detergent and bleach for washing.
The detergent and bleach cleanless can leave behind yellowness, rust, and germs. Harpic's 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach, and kills 99.9% illness-causing germs in your toilet, including the COVID-19 virus.
Nairobi is becoming a very dangerous place.
Mimi nadhani hido ndio ilifanya brother wangu akauawa.
Sasa hizi sina tuko nazo. Okay, but si we are dead.
Tell me where my money is and I'll make this quick and painless.
Mnajua kuna mtu atatoka hapa kabla nione ganji eh?
Hata afadhali tuichome.
Nitakuangusha hapa hivi saa hii.
What should I do with my Luigi? He's 35 now but doesn't want to move out. I cook for him, I wash for him.
Allora, why don't you try a Red Bull?
Ornella, where is my mama?
Ah, she's flown the nest.
And we need 2 Royco cubes because iron gives you strength to sukuma yourself to be the best you can be.
Hey, welcome back to the Weekend Edition. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori. I trust conversation ya leo mtaenjoy sana. Guest wetu wa leo is the founder. Yeye ndiye alikama up na organization inaitwa Diaspora Youth Caucus, initiative ya nguvu sana ya kupatia mavijana wako majuu identity. Cliff Mobek is in the house. Asante. So for wale watu wengi hawajui, nimestruggle sana na hiyo jina caucus. I know I could have googled it, but I just chose to ask you directly. Caucus inaweza kuwa short form ya Caucasian, which ni wazungu, ama cocaine, which caucus. Let's start with caucus, alafu Diaspora Youth Caucus. What is the Diaspora Youth Caucus all about?
The Diaspora Youth Caucus or caucus itself?
We start with the caucus itself.
Yeah, caucus is coming together.
Coming together?
Yes.
Ah, interesting.
Yes.
So tell us about the Diaspora Youth Caucus.
Yeah, the Diaspora Youth Caucus is an organization that I founded 5 years ago. I think it was 2018. 5
years ago?
Yep.
Okay.
But it was kind of a little bit dormant because I wanted to put people together so that you put it an official way. So it picked up very well in last year, before elections, early last year. That's when we started up, so in a big swing. Yeah, because a lot of people came together, and that's where we are right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Asante sana. There's a lot of good vibes from the idea of the youth, people coming together outside the country, right? And please allow me to go with something you told me that has been bugging me from when we set up this conversation first. And shout out to Mwafrika wa Iko Nini podcast for helping us set this up. Unaona vile sisi usema ati Kenyans are united outside the country. So turns out tribalism could be worse outside Kenya than it is back home.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's digital.
Tribalism is digital.
Very digital and very advanced. Yeah, it's very advanced. The fact that, the only people who will make it not for you to feel it is the youth. That's why it's the Diaspora Youth Caucus.
Yes.
Because them, more especially the youth who went there a long time ago, let's say like they went when they are age of 5 going forward, right?
Yes.
Those people, they really normally lack an identity. They don't know where they are exactly. They can never be American. They can never be Kenyan. They have to choose an identity of their own. You see?
What does that mean?
What it means is, like, first of all, they didn't catch up very well when they were here, right? Maybe someone left by the age of 5 years, right?
Yes.
So when they get to the United States, for instance, or UK or Canada or something like that, right? So how long are they going to cope up with the new life? Because they have to find themselves in identity, because okay, for instance, we have Black Americans, right?
Yes.
Who are the Black community in America who went there, who are born there and all that. But there's a gap there. I normally call it like a silhouette, whereby they don't even know how to identify themselves as well. Because when it comes to occasions, more especially we have national holidays, when they come together, they want to identify themselves as Kenyans. But at the same time, they already know themselves they are Americans. But then you find that there's a whole block here in the middle. They don't really know where they are exactly.
That's an interesting thing to say because even America is the land of immigrants. Like
Correct.
almost everybody who lives in America moved there from someone.
That's correct.
So the factor that separates people is time. Ulikuja lini? Mgeni ni wa mwisho, si ndio? So now, in your experience, how long does it take for someone to gain an identity? Like how many generations, right? For you to be comfortably an American with Kenyan roots, for example, but for you to be comfortably an American. How long do you think it takes for that to?
Actually, that depends on, I don't know, your question is not very specific. What do you mean by that exactly?
By that I mean, you say someone who moved there, say under 5 years, is not, they don't have some form of identity, right? This person grows up, gets a child. Will this child still have the same struggles of having an identity, or this child is now an American, or they are children's children?
Actually, that's a very good question. They normally pick up different identities. You see, for instance, if you are, like, for instance, if I go to America today, right?
Yes.
And then I marry there. And then maybe I married to a white person or a black person, but an American, or a Kenyan who was born in America, right? So when I bring up this child, he's going to pick up different backgrounds.
Yes,
my roots, I'm Kenyan, I can never change that, right? And then maybe I have my other parent is an American. So he's going to grow up, he or she is going to grow up with two identities, right? Depending on the culture and how you lifestyle and how you I mean, the way you raise up your children. So that person is going to have, they must have like double identities. That happens a lot. As opposed to a person who grows there at the age, you know, when a child grows to at the age of 8 years, right?
Yes.
That's, for instance, that's someone who has already picked up an identity already.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, especially they would try to blend in, it's not possible. It's going to take you a minute for you to get in.
Okay.
But at some point, kuna kale kitu kanabaki unasema bado ni Mkenya.
So we'll go back to the time factor.
Of course, you have to.
Okay.
Yep.
Sawa. And when you say Kenyans, and I think, I don't know why I'm stuck on this. Like there is tribalism outside Kenya, say in the US. Like how do you afford to be divided? As in, what are the factors that cause this division? Like, hey, mazi, how do you afford to be, hey, mazi, Waluya wa ukuaji, Wajaka wa ukuaji? Like, hey, unakuaje Mkisii, New York? As in, those are the things going through my mind.
A person who lives in this country goes to the other country out there. We really don't have that whatever.
It doesn't have the pain.
It does not even the pain. It doesn't get reasonable with you because you don't understand. We grow up here. You left here a mature person at your adult time.
Yes.
Someone calls you like, okay. So someone tells you you're black. Yeah, I know. I come from the factory,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So it's very simple things. Like, I mean, they will never bother me. If you choose them to bother you, then I think that's a you problem.
Yes, yes.
But in a real sense, there's nowhere someone is going to call you a black person and is going to bother you. But the people there who are born there, the black Americans, and they have history with those kind of things.
Yes.
Even there is a song that you can sing, the spiritual songs, they can feel it. A white person can never sing that song, that particular individual.
A spiritual song?
Yeah.
A spiritual song in Ngoma ya Kanisa. There is a song.
Yeah, like, you know, there are songs they used to sing when they were in plantations, cotton plantations and all that, or sugar plantations when they're doing all this kind of farm work and all that. So for them, maybe, you know, like the white kids and all that, when growing up, they hear their parents say those kind of things, right? So when they say them, maybe you're in school and somebody's going to say, they say, maybe like it brings that even a chorus out of it, like that. Any of those songs, they used to be like, they were trying to mourn the atrocities that were caused by these people, right? And then you bring that song up, what's going to happen? Problems. That person is going to feel a problem. It's going to be a serious problem, honestly.
So some gospel songs are out of bounds for white people?
Not some gospel songs, some spiritual songs.
Oh, spiritual songs.
Yeah, let's be very clear on that.
Oh, there's a difference.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was something around interference with freedom of worship. So now, you say that the way I say it is different.
Yeah.
So it's the same insult, but it's the nini. Your uchungu iko kwa accent.
Yes. No, not in the kwa accent. On how you say it.
Oh, how you say it.
How you say it. You know, like for instance, even you listen to songs, right?
Yes.
They sing and you can sing that. For instance, you play a song here, has ding, nigga, nigga, nigga in it, right? And then you see a white person jumping into that song and dancing into it. It will be fun. No, it will be fun. Okay. wait until that phrase comes up and say, okay, they skip it.
You press silent.
Yes. They won't say it. They'll just choose to skip it.
Even if you become friends, like good friends, that is where you draw the line.
That changes the whole thing, by the way. It depends on how. You never realize you are a racist. You're going to be a black racist. Yes.
When I see someone blacker than me.
No.
That's racism.
No. You can profile someone who is a white person. Like, you have issues with racism all the time. When you see a white person, you really have that instinct that comes in and you're like, oh my God, that's a white person. I mean, you see, there are people who don't like white people naturally.
Okay.
Yes, like they don't want to reason with them, they don't want to deal with them.
You mentioned something also very deep about people who are stuck in a country like the US. They can't leave, they want to come back home, but they can't. But before we talk about that, how does it come? It's the tribalism card, whereby you find that a certain tribe of Kenyans just live in a certain area and a certain area in a certain area. What are the factors that contribute to that? You fly tribalism, we export tribalism to America, or?
I think it's sieving. I call that is sieving, like trying to, like when you're trying to juggle up a lot of things and then you filter what you want to do, right? Like, this is how tribalism works. People want to identify with who they want to be with, which is very obvious, right? Like, for instance, if you are Kisii, someone would want to identify with their own people and their own community, what they are alike with, right? They just choose to go to New Jersey or go to Minneapolis, okay? If you are maybe probably a Kikuyu, you'd want to go to Seattle, or you want to go to Los Angeles, or you want to go to Atlanta, Georgia.
Kikuyus are choosing the areas they can't pronounce, like.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it depends on where do you want to go, where your people are. That's why I say, like, tribalism is just there. It's only that it's just so digital, you don't see it.
Yeah.
But now the only people who are killing it is that the young people. They don't know that. They don't. Once kids are born, they just speak English, period. That's it. Okay. So the tribe thing just automatically dies. But if you are Luo parents or Kikuyu parents, you're in your house, at the end of the day, you're able to identify, like, But for instance, there's a funeral. Even the people, because we still have that analogy of the way people collect funds and all that, if you go through that, the WhatsApp groups people put out there, someone wants to identify you as a Kisii first or as a Luo, they put your name first there in the group, right? So when people are collecting the money, what you see? Last names first. And then some of their friends, they're going to do something for you. Okay. I mean, it's something people don't want to accept. It's the truth.
Okay.
But it's just, if I show you, you'll be just surprised. It's something that I've seen over the time. You know, it happens.
And when you mentioned funerals, I think you hit something that I've always wanted to know. Like, we always hear of people passing on in the US, unfortunate stories, but then they have to come back to be buried in Kenya. Is it because of family? You have most family here, or because the US has very stringent rules in terms of interment of people?
I think it's culture and family.
Okay.
But apparently a lot of people right now, they're being buried in the US. They don't have to ship someone who has already died back here. Yeah, so it's your choice on how you to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another interesting bit before we get to how the ways to which someone can immigrate legally so that you don't have problems. We have people who are stuck outside the country, stuck in a country like the US. They want to come back, but they can't. But you have people who wish they can get a chance to move, say, for example, immigrate to America. What do you have to say to both people, starting with giving us information on why people get stuck but they can't come back?
Oh, wow. That's a serious question. I don't want to unmask some things, but
please, feel free.
Here's the thing. You know, for instance, let me just, do you want me to go professional way or an unprofessional way?
Zote.
Okay, let's start with that unprofessional way, okay? Yes. There are, for instance, people living in this country with the B1, B2 visas, right? For visit and
B1, B2
visas, okay? Yes. And some other visas may be for R1, like for artists and all that. People just choose to leave this country and go out there, right? The process of changing your status to legal permanent residency or citizenship is very tedious. It's very tedious. And at times you don't have, it's not a guarantee that you have to be approved for that. So you end up being yourself in a situation whereby you cannot leave the country. Once you mess up your status, you're pretty much stuck. up until you have to correct it.
Messing up your status.
Yes.
What does that entail? Overstaying.
Overstaying, you are welcome.
Overstaying, you're welcome.
Yes.
So how is this welcome? They welcome you for how long?
So for instance, when you just come to US with B1, B2 visas, right? Back then they used to issue 2 years visas. Apparently they issue 5 years. Okay, you prove to the embassy that you're able to go there and come back and all that, right? And then you get there, maybe life changes. Okay, after you stay a period of time, maybe you find someone, you marry, and your life happens. Things change. It's something. It's normal, right?
Yes.
And then you start the process of trying to adjust your status to legal permanent residency, which is a legal process. And then maybe at the end of the day, things happen. You can hook up yourself with the wrong person, maybe someone who's been in drugs, pedophilia. People will definitely fail your process and all that, because you don't have a way to do a background check for anything.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you're going to be denied that change of status for you to be a legal permanent resident in the US. So what happens, trouble starts. So there's what you call a removal process. It begins immediately for you to be ejected out of the country. So you find out people now start hiding. You have to
hiding?
Yes, you have to hide for you to survive. Maybe you already have children and all that. What's going to happen if you leave the country? You're going to leave your children to go to foster homes and all that because you are an illegal immigrant in the country.
But your children are?
The children, they are. So by the time
they will kick you out and leave your children?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of people have been kicked out.
You can't live with your children?
The Americans, they can't leave. They can leave if they want to and come back, but you can't. Because you're already in violation.
So you to America kuzaa, as in? Hold on. They kick you out, your children are Americans?
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. That happens a lot to a lot of people. I know a lot of people have been kicked out because the process is rigorous, actually, and change of status is serious as well. And apparently, each and every single time, every case, they advance their process on how to know who is doing things correctly and is doing things illegally. You see what I mean? So they really use a lot of technology to identify those kind of things. So they might kind of find you where you're working and maybe to do a lot of Wakenya wenyewe usemana, unajua.
Yes.
Yes. Someone doesn't like you maybe by your last name,
That happens.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's why I told you it happens. It's the truth. People don't choose to say it, but it's the truth.
Mazia, asante sana, and special thank you to Mwafrika wa Iko Nini podcast for helping us set this up. This is good information, very good vibes. Asante sana once again for making time for us. God bless you, and God bless the work that you're doing. Asante sana. That's it for the Wicked edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.